Get ready for the next battle.
Hadouken! What the hell?
Flawless victory.
Alright, well, I'm back after, a month of not uploading. I've just been very busy with work and life and etc. And YouTube's not a job for me, it's just a hobby. Whenever I can do it, I do it. If I can't, then I can't. Same with streaming. But today, I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite characters from some of my favorite fighting games. And before we get into it, I just want to go over a couple of rules. For example, I'm not going to pick guest characters, with the exception of like Marvel vs. Capcom, because that's a crossover game. It doesn't really feature like guest characters. I'm more talking about like Soul Calibur 2, for example, where it has Link. Like I can't pick Link because obviously I would pick him because I'm a huge Zelda fan. But he's like the only guest character in that game besides Yoshimitsu if you count him from Tekken. So I'm not going to be doing that. And I'm obviously not doing every single fighting game ever made because I haven't played every single fighting game ever made. I'm only doing the ones I've played. And I'm only doing it by franchise as well. So I'm not going to do like the first Tekken, do the second, the third, the fourth. I'm not doing that. One character per franchise and only the games I've played, which is more than fair. So with that, let's begin. I have to start with Street Fighter because Street Fighter was one of the big fighting games for me. And if I had to pick a character, here's the thing though, I love every single character in Street Fighter. Well, maybe not every single character, but a good chunk of them I adore. I think they're all fantastic. They really are what got fighting games started. But I love each and every one of these characters, and I think they're all iconic, all incredible, and amazing. If I had to pick one, though, I'd have to go with Guile. And I know that's a bit of a weird one for some people, especially for me, because I don't main Guile. Like, I don't play him all the time. Like, when I pick Street Fighter 6 up, I'm usually playing Akuma. And I love Akuma, but Guile just defines Street Fighter for me. From his design to his theme song from Street Fighter 2, everything about him just reeks of iconic. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but playing him and listening to his theme song, it just makes me feel like a family man. And I don't know why. This next one's kind of a two-parter just because Fatal Fury also has King of Fighters, and I'm treating them as two separate series, which they technically are, but I know a lot of people kind of consider them in the same group. But for Fatal Fury, I gotta go with Terry Bogard. I gotta pick a Shoto somewhere. And Terry Bogard is just cool. He reeks of like the 90s style. He's just awesome. He's simple but effective with his design. And then his moves are just so much fun to use in the game. And I love putting him on a team with Mai. I almost picked Mai because I really enjoy Mai too. But moving on to King of Fighters, I know I kind of went quickly with him, but there's not much to talk about. He's just an iconic, beloved character who's a lot of fun to play for me. But King of Fighters, Yori Yagami. Love this character. From design to looks to personality, he is so cool. And I know a lot of people don't like this character because he's too edgy, but I think that's what makes him so appealing, is that he's like an over-the-top edgy. From his goofy laugh every time he wins to his outfit that looks like a waiter. He's just great. I absolutely adore this character. And I know I'm in the same boat as a lot of people who also really, really like him. Now for the series that got me into fighting games in the first place, Soul Calibur, I have to go with my boy Voldo. And I know he's a weirdo character, everyone's kind of shoves him off, but if I wasn't playing Link in Soul Calibur 2, I was playing Voldo because he looked so badass when I first saw him. Plus, like, the creepy way he walks and his weird moveset was just very appealing to me because I do like to play my weirdo characters where I can mix people up and they don't really know what to expect. So he really appealed to me, and he was kind of my pocket main next to Link, but I couldn't pick Link in this group, so have to go with my pocket main Voldo. Moving back over to Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom, the complete series. On the Capcom side, I have to go with Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. I mean, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. Everybody knows that here. Part of it is that, but her moveset is so unique and incredibly, like, imaginative for what they had to work with. You know, Resident Evil's a survival horror game, and the fact they made a fighting game character out of that was completely awesome. And just, it was so cool when you could summon a zombie to latch on to players or set them on fire, or use the Nemesis, or not the Nemesis, the Tyrant as a super and blow it up on top of that. She's just so cool, and I love playing Jill in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. On the Marvel side, I definitely have to go with Cyclops, because I'm a huge X-Men fan. A lot of people don't know that about me, actually. I do love X-Men. It's probably one of my favorite Marvel properties. But Cyclops, from his design, his classic design, I know a lot of his moveset's just lasers. He's not a very interesting character gameplay wise, but it's my X-Men fanboy favoritism that wins him over for me. And I didn't pick Wolverine because I actually do not enjoy playing Wolverine in Marvel vs. Capcom. I know he's good in the older games, but in 2 he was absolutely terrible. I love Wolverine's design, but that's not enough to make him my favorite in there. They got to be fun to play as well, so that's why Cyclops gets that. Now, as for Capcom versus SNK, I have to go with Ken for the Capcom side. Again, I love my Shotos. Not really much to explain there. He's a classic character. Love playing him. He's a lot of fun, etc., etc. And then I have to go with Mai, because I was going to pick Mai for the King of Fighters. Then I'm like, no, I'm going to give it to Terry. For Fatal Fury, sorry. Fatal Fury, I gave it to Terry. King of Fighters, I gave it to Yori. And then I wanted to pick Mai. So this is where I'm going to pick Mai. Sorry, I confuzzled it. But Mai, I've absolutely just loved playing as her, from her gameplay to her appearance, of course. And yeah, she's just a lot of fun to play. I enjoy everything she has to offer. Same with Ken, again, not much to explain there. Same situation as Terry, basically. On to Darkstalkers, I have to go with Lele. I just love this character as well. It's kind of the same situation as Yori Yagami. Just a very cool designed character. She's based off a hopping vampire in Chinese folklore, and she rocks it. Her moves are a lot of fun. They're very imaginative. They take advantage of not only her claws, but what she has hidden in her sleeves. Just a very creative and fun character to play as. She's always my go-to when I boot up Darkstalkers. So away from Darkstalkers now, going into Guilty Gear. It's more specifically Guilty Gear Strive, because that's the only Guilty Gear I've ever played in my life. I have to go with Baiken. Baiken, I love the samurai-style gameplay. She is a lot of fun. I love her roping technique. She is just a very fun and technical character that I have fun experimenting with and finding out what she can do. I don't play a ton of Guilty Gear, but when I do, I usually go to her because she's one of the few characters I know how to play. Again, I'm not a huge Guilty Gear player. Guilty Gear Strive was my first and only Guilty Gear I've ever played. I might check out the older ones, see how those are. But anyway, her gameplay is what really sells me on her, and of course her design. Who doesn't love her design, especially if you're a male? Now, moving on to the final game and characters. Sorry, by the way, if I'm going through these really fast. There's just a lot of games to cover and a lot of characters, and I didn't want to waste a bunch of time talking about one character and then making that a 10-minute segment. And then eventually the video turns into a 45-minute video, because that's not the point of my videos. I want them to be quick and accessible. So the final game, or franchise I should say, Tekken. Tekken's tricky for me. Very, very tricky, because I like Tekken. It is not my favorite fighting game of all time. I enjoy it, but I have kind of a love-hate relationship with it. And I wanted to pick Kazuya, but I'm like, no, I can't pick Kazuya. And then I think this is the right one. And I might be a little bit biased because this character did appear in Soul Calibur. He's not a guest character in Tekken. That's his home game. I have to go with Yoshimitsu. And I know a lot of people who have seen me play Tekken would disagree, because I don't, again, it's like a Guile situation where I don't play him all the time. He's not my main. His design, though, is so cool. But not only that, his personality does not match his design. He is a goofy character, and I love him. And just the fact that he has a move where he can fly with his sword is just bonkers. That's why I like him. I love my weirdo characters. Like, I didn't make every character on this list a weirdo character because there are like more serious characters I enjoy. I adore him. He's weird and quirky, and I enjoy him a lot. His unpredictable gameplay really reminds me of like Voldo. And of course, the fact that he uses a sword gives me Soul Calibur vibes, and it just makes me feel a little more at home in Tekken. He's a very homey character, where when I was first getting into Tekken, which actually wasn't that long ago, it was like a couple years ago. Not a couple years ago, it was quite a while ago. I started with Tekken 5, if I can remember. Like 5 I barely played though, so I don't really count that. I mostly count 6. 6 is where I really started getting into Tekken. And Yoshimitsu just, I was unfamiliar with the game and everything, but I knew who Yoshimitsu was from being a guest in Soul Calibur 2. And when I picked him up, I just felt right at home. So that's why I picked him. So that's my rapid fire favorite characters of all time in all the fighting games I've played. I might be missing a few fighting games I've played and just don't remember off the top of my head. But I can't remember all of them, and honestly, I didn't want this video to be as long as it is now, which we're already hitting almost 12 minutes at 11:30 right now. So I'm going to end it off here. Let me know down below what are some of your favorite fighting game characters of all time. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.